What's up everybody? My name is Vincent. Welcome to Cryptolution, where we talk about everything under the moon, the crypto universe. Today is Thursday, November 9th. Now in today's video is very exciting because it's a potential buy right now opportunity because it could be too late if you do not look at these three coins. Now what are we going to talk about? We're going to talk about Bitcoin, we're going to be talking about Ethereum, and most likely we're going to be talking about Solana. Why am I talking about these three? It's because in my opinion, I definitely think these three have the most upside and return on investment for the next bull market that could potentially be happening in 2024. Now, you have to keep in mind that because I'm talking about these altcoins, just because I'm talking about these cryptocurrencies does not mean you should be bullish and just go aping in and just buying as much as you can, putting your mortgage in, spending everything in your savings. Please do not do that. You have to treat this video as if it's educational, because when you watch the video throughout its entirety, you're going to be more informed to make the best investment decision for yourself, because I'm not in charge of your investment decisions. You are ultimately in charge. So as a forewarning, everything that I'm about to share with you is going to sound very bullish. There's a reason for that. So as always, be sure to like up the button, subscribe to the channel. Don't forget to join our Patreon page. And most importantly, please be careful with any of the scammers down in the comments below. I will never reach out via WhatsApp, Telegram, direct messaging, or email. So please be careful and invest safely. So guys and girls, let's get right into it. So as you can see right now, Bitcoin is around 36,000, Ethereum is at 2,000, Solana is at $44. What's very interesting is that the market cap is actually kind of slightly growing. It used to be at 1.36 trillion, has now jumped up to 1.37 trillion. Could it go any higher? Well, we do know that this market was almost up to 2 trillion when we were in the bull market of 2021. Now, when we look at the fear and greed index, look at this. We are now at 69. It hasn't really been pumping in terms of the greed index. Mainly, what do I mean by that? If you're new to the channel, if you see that the market for cryptocurrency and Bitcoin is far into the green section, that's where you have to take your ideas and start thinking about taking profits. And that's when you start to think about selling. But you also kind of have to evaluate where the market is, because again, we've seen this hop into the very greed section and we still were in a bullish trend. And then when you're in this section, which is the fear, the red spot and orange spot, that's the fear section. That's where people don't want to buy any cryptocurrencies. They're scared to speculate, but that's where you buy. That's where you buy the fear. And most retail investors aren't very familiar with that because they don't invest in stocks, NASDAQ, or even cryptocurrencies. But this is a very common thing that people do within trading, within day traders, within investing. So keep that in mind. So what caused this little pump that we saw here? Well, there was a liquidation roughly around 150 million worth of longs that are completely wiped out in the past hour. Now, what does that actually do? If it's a long or short trade, basically people have to fill in those positions in order to cover their butts. So basically what that does is it ends up either pumping cryptocurrency or dumping cryptocurrency. It depends on which position that they're trying to long or short. Now, when we look at the very first coin, this is what we got to talk about first. And this is why you're watching this video, the top three coins that I want you to look at. The first one is Solana. Why am I looking at Solana? Well, if you look over the past month, it's grown a lot, over 99%. It used to be at around $21. Now, over the past day, it's only gone up 3%, but actually went up a little bit higher because we were at around $44. But as of this morning, it hit almost close to around $50, but almost around 48.5. So keep that in mind. Why did it pump? Well, I want everybody to pay attention to Solana because it's one of the greatest blockchains I know out there that's completely scalable. But we do know that one of the co-founders, whose name is Anatoly, notes that Solana is not witnessing fee spikes because of what we're seeing in the whole bull market within cryptocurrency. So what does he mean by that? He's talking about Ethereum. When Ethereum becomes congested, gas fees, which is the fee that you pay to send, transfer funds, to trade NFTs, whatever it is, any transaction within Ethereum, those transactions could literally cost from $5 to hundreds of dollars, and if it's really congested, thousands of dollars. We've seen this happen with the NFT market within other deeds, which is the land sale within the metaverse within Bored Ape Yacht Club. But within Solana, the fees are literally like micro pennies. It's crazy. You can send hundreds, thousands of dollars, even $1 million with mere pennies in the transaction fees. And also the transactions are super fast. So that's what Anatoly is saying. And it's absolutely true. We've seen the NFT market grow quite substantially. But also in terms of decentralized exchanges, also known as DEXs, their volume the first week of November flipped the whole months of August and September. And I think it's because we're seeing consistent growth within Solana, because Solana isn't just about sending transaction fees. It's also people who want to build financing opportunities, games, GameFi, also NFTs. It's allowing people to literally be a part of an opportunity to build their business on top of this blockchain. It's a really great startup blockchain for what I know. So there was an event that happened recently in Amsterdam, and that was called Solana Breakpoint. And a lot of developers from all walks of life came to this actual event, and it's always one of the biggest events that I've seen. What I love about Solana Breakpoint is that you have people who come in with these new ideas, but they also share with them their data, the data that they have been researching with their own platforms when it comes to Soul Sniper, when it comes to NFTs, when it comes to Backpack, which is another iOS app that's now available on the Apple Store, which is related to an NFT. Whatever it is that you want to do, you can build it here. And that's why we're seeing substantial growth within Solana. Now, if you look at the amount of unique active accounts, there's around 11.5 million plus accounts, with NFTs minted around 21.9 million. And again, like I mentioned, the average cost per transaction is literally less than a penny, micro cents to a penny. And if you think about it, it's actually scalable, it's energy efficient, and it's absolutely decentralized. So this is why Solana could have the most upside. Yes, we have FTX out of this whole debacle because, Sam Bankman-Fried definitely, was a fraud. He scammed all of his customers. We're seeing that FTX may come back, but they have a huge stake in Solana. They have millions of dollars worth of Solana being staked right now that's being locked. We don't know how long that lock period is, but they don't seem like they're going to be selling any of their tokens soon because they would be selling at a loss. So they're most likely going to stake it, earn some more Solana, and probably take profits once we're in the bull market. So this is why Solana has the most upside, I think, potentially. It's more cost efficient. You can actually buy this, you can afford it for around $44. And again, we did see the all-time high price of Solana at around 250, but that's because there's a whole bunch of VCs that were invested in the token. And I don't know if we're going to actually see prices like that anytime soon, but you never know. That's why I keep Solana on your radar. Now we have to talk about the second token, and that's going to be Ethereum. Yes, Ethereum actually pumped quite a bit. I'm going to tell you why in a little bit. Now, it used to be at around $1,900, pumped all the way up to $2,000. What's going on? So why is this important to talk about Ethereum? Yes, the gas fees are substantial, and sending, any transactions, making any trades, buy, sell orders is quite a lot of money. But I want to share with you one thing of why Ethereum could possibly go to the moon. Now, we got to look at what happened recently, and this happened today. So BlackRock is one of the largest hedge fund asset managers in the world, if not the largest. So what they did was they registered an Ethereum trust in Delaware, and they said it's the first step towards filing a spot Ether ETF. And this is the actual document right here. Now, what's really important about this is that yes, if they file this as a trust and then convert it into an Ethereum ETF, it would be no different from what they're doing right now with Bitcoin. Now, if you don't know, BlackRock actually filed a spot Bitcoin ETF application and is waiting for approval. And they actually sent a new revised version to the SEC for approval. And this is why we're seeing Bitcoin going to rally, which we're going to talk about a little bit. But for this to happen is actually quite bullish, because once institutional investors are able to try to buy, sell Ethereum, they have exposure to this actual ETF. And that's going to be really bullish for Ethereum. Now, if you look at here, even the Ethereum NFT volume is growing substantially because we're seeing the price of Ethereum go high, but also the BlackRock spot Ethereum ETF could be passed at some certain point early next year. We don't actually know, but that's just all speculation. Now, if you go over to Blur, what you'll notice is that the Ethereum NFT market is in the green. What we usually see is that if a cryptocurrency tends to pump, NFTs of that same blockchain tend to dump because people would rather have US dollar conversions or their actual cryptocurrency. So say for instance with Solana, when Solana's price goes up, Solana NFTs go down. But Ethereum is completely something different. We're seeing that Ethereum NFTs and Ethereum, the cryptocurrency, pump, and they're correlated together, which is kind of crazy. So what does that actually mean for Ethereum? Well, Ethereum is inflationary as of right now. But keep in mind, there has been some actual thing installed into Ethereum that makes it deflationary. What does that actually mean? So because Ethereum hasn't seen so much transaction volume over the past year or so, we've seen Ethereum become inflationary. But because we installed something that was in Ethereum that's built to make it deflationary, if Ethereum continues to be used at this level, then sooner or later it will become deflationary, almost like Bitcoin, which would make Ethereum's price pump pretty high. Now, I don't know what that price is going to be, but that's just my point of view. And the last thing I want to share with you about the NFT space, that right now, the market sentiment is still cool. That means Ethereum NFTs are not in the bullish trend yet. We're not seeing FOMO or euphoria just yet. And right now we're in 32, but what you've seen in the blue chip index is that people are accumulating these blue chips. And you're seeing that right now the market cap is actually growing quite substantially. So that's just within the first 24 hours. Now, let's talk about the very last cryptocurrency, and that is the king of crypto. That is Bitcoin. Now, Bitcoin right now is around 36,000 US dollars. Now, as a retail investor, you must be wondering, wait a minute, should I be investing $36,000 right now, or even 5,000, even 500? So this is the point that I'm going to try to make with everybody here. The Nasdaq and the S&P 500 right now are not doing really well. In fact, they're kind of reacting to all the Fed rate hikes and all the interest rate hikes. This is what's happening. Bitcoin is kind of a refuge. It's kind of a store of value. It's taking your US dollars and making them stronger, because the US dollar is really now cash is trash. So people are flocking to put even any amount into Bitcoin as of right now. And not too long ago, Bitcoin used to be around 15,000 at the beginning of the year. Isn't that crazy? Now it's at 36,000. It's because BlackRock and all these other big institutions have filed spot Bitcoin ETF applications waiting for approval that will hopefully be approved by January. And why do I say January? Is because ARK Invest is having their first deadline in January of 2024. And stick around to the very end because I have something very important to share with you. Now, Bitcoin has all these different institutions investing, but the most important thing, even though they all kind of tally up around 17 trillion, you need to pay attention to Grayscale down here, because they roughly have around 623,000 Bitcoin, possibly more, which equates to around $15.6 billion. Why is that important? Well, right now, we do know that after the SEC's government court defeat against Grayscale, the regulator is said to have open talks about the company spot Bitcoin ETF application. The SEC approving an ETF is keenly awaited bit of news in the crypto industry. And also, we have something from the Grayscale's chief legal officer who said this: Bitcoin ETF approval is a matter of when, not a matter if anymore. Because right now, if Grayscale's trust is converted to a spot Bitcoin ETF alongside all those institutions, it's going to be crazy parabolic for Bitcoin, which also pays tribute to Ethereum, Solana, and every other cryptocurrency out there. And also, we got to keep in mind that Michael Saylor has this really great breakdown of the Bitcoin halving that's coming up in April of 2024, and why people are going to flock to this. So I'm going to let this clip play right now, and I'm going to let Michael Saylor explain to you why he's bought over 100,000 Bitcoin in his portfolio. I think he has around 153,000 Bitcoin, which is kind of crazy.
Michael, you tweeted a very compelling tweet on November 4th about Bitcoin offering corporations an innovative strategy to preserve the capital, sort of what you just talked about. But what I thought was even more compelling is you said to escape the destructive cycle of expensive acquisitions, buybacks, dividends, and debt. Those are all the traditional ways companies are told they can reward shareholders. You're saying skip all of that and go straight to Bitcoin.
Yeah, what I'm saying is, decapitalizing the company by giving the capital back in a buyback, or dividending it out and paying the tax on the dividend, or engaging in dilutive acquisitions, or pursuing breakneck growth initiatives that may or may not work. All of these things are part of the conventional corporate finance playbook, but they don't work. 99% of the companies are failing using that. And they do it because if they just hold their capital in government securities, they generate 3% after tax, right, and the cost of capital is 12 to 15%. So Bitcoin is the solution, because you can buy Bitcoin, ride a 20 to 40% tax deferred appreciation. You can beat the cost of capital. And pretty soon you're firing on all cylinders, because your balance sheet is generating investor returns as well as your P&L.
Before I let you go, Bitcoin on a tear right now. What do you think over the next year? What could be some of the drivers that take it higher?
Look, the supply and demand are in balance right now, but after the halving in April, the supply gets cut in half, and after the set of spot ETFs come online, the demand's got at least double. So the only thing that's going to adjust there is the price in order to get the market to clear. And so I think you watch the spot ETFs and you watch for the halving, and the next 12 months are pretty auspicious for the asset class.
Now, you just heard some great words of wisdom from Michael Saylor, who's bought a ton of Bitcoin and right now is considered in profit with all of his investment holdings within Bitcoin. Now, there are some critics out there that will say the otherwise. So this is what Peter Schiff said, who is kind of an anti-Bitcoin person. He says, Bitcoin is approaching 38K as speculators continue to front run a new Bitcoin ETF. However, once that ETF is launched, all of the speculators will have already bought. So when those buyers sell to take profits, there won't be many left to buy the ETF. Get ready for a crash. And not only that, we also have JP Morgan. Oh my God, this is hilarious. JP Morgan's analyst says that the crypto rally looks overdone overall. And quote unquote says cautious on crypto markets going forward with a high chance of buy the rumor / sell the fact, or also known as sell the news effect, post the forthcoming SEC approval of a spot Bitcoin ETF. Why is this absolutely important to understand why these specific people are very bearish regarding the spot Bitcoin ETF? Now, keep in mind, we have to look at the history of Bitcoin, right? So in 2018, we had a Bitcoin halving. What happened prior to the Bitcoin halving? We saw a pump and then a dump. This could have been buy the rumor, sell the news. And then we also had another Bitcoin halving in 2020. What did we get? We got a buy the rumor, sell the news, but what happened after that? It pumped again, and then it dumped right after. So what will happen this time? Will it pump again as buy the rumor and then sell the news? Possibly. But here's the thing, we didn't have spot Bitcoin ETF applications here. We didn't have trillions of dollars flowing into Bitcoin and cryptocurrency. Right now, we're seeing regulation for the first time in history for cryptocurrency, potentially in 2026, but also spot Bitcoin ETFs happening in our actual cryptocurrency market. We could see the cryptocurrency market go from 1.3 trillion, go past its all-time high of 2 trillion, and even go as high as 3, 4, 5 trillion dollars. Imagine what will happen to Bitcoin then. Keep in mind, out of all time, Bitcoin used to be at around 0.05 Bitcoin. It's gone up massively since then, and it keeps doing that. That's Bitcoin's history. Now, why are we talking about this? It's because, guys, girls, the Bitcoin halving is literally 160 days from now. It's happening on April 18th of 2024. So right now you're going to see a lot of volatility within Bitcoin. It's going to go up, it's going to go down until then. But if you just leave your funds in Bitcoin, statistically, your dollars are worth a lot more when the Bitcoin halving happens compared to what they were now. Because Bitcoin consistently has a halving every 4 years. Bitcoin is becoming the digital gold. And this is why I think right now Solana, Ethereum, and Bitcoin are absolutely great opportunities to buy. Now, as a conclusion and statement, let's talk about Solana. Solana is very speculative. I definitely think it's going to be the #1 blockchain out there in terms of scalability, decentralization, security, and also growth for independent businesses and also big companies in real life worlds to work with that blockchain. Google Cloud is already working with them right now on validators and everything else, which is kind of crazy. And then with Ethereum, Ethereum is still going to be the #2 cryptocurrency out there in the world because it's more established. It was there created after Bitcoin, and it has a huge NFT marketplace, and it's definitely one of the big players where big people with big money go there to flock to buy the biggest assets. And then with Bitcoin, Bitcoin is a store of value. It's the king of crypto. It's a no-brainer. I definitely think that right now, Bitcoin is heavily undervalued. And again, if you're buying right now, you're still buying underneath the all-time high of around $60,000. So if you think you're buying it at a really high price, keep in mind, people bought a lot higher back then. So right now, you've heard my thoughts and opinions. Please do your own research, evaluate your positions. Now you've heard my 3 favorite altcoins that possibly you need to buy right now before it's too late. But let me know your thoughts down below. I want to hear your opinions. And again, we're here about hearing everybody's thoughts around these different currencies, and then we'll maybe cover on the next video. Until then, be sure to like, subscribe to the channel. Don't forget to join our Patreon page to get all the alpha calls in our buy and sell orders, both NFTs and cryptocurrencies. Until then, see you guys and girls next time.